What up, what up, what up? This is Slaw. Another week, another Snap release, right? Goliath is the newest card to release for Snap. Very easy to understand and play card and a welcome boost for ongoing base builds. Goliath is our new boy. Ongoing's been good though, so if I'm being honest, it's just an enhancement, like an additional battery in the back. Ongoing's never been bad, they've just been easy to counter with specific cards. However, they're a bit more consistent with placing power across the board now that Goliath is here. He helps with that as a 2-cost, 1 power card with an ongoing effect that gives you plus 1 power for every ongoing card that you alone have in play. Just to specify, he is not Gore, who goes plus for every reveal card in play from both sides, meaning you and your opponent. So just think of him as him being effective with only the cards on your side of the field only. He is smaller, but his strength lies in his effect. The more ongoing cards you have in play, the stronger he gets. Honestly, that's it right there. Anyway, let's move on. Let's check this build out. This build is an easy to start or play build with Goliath. Its star players actually Stan Wilson and Captain America, because both him and the Shield are ongoing, so Goliath automatically gets a plus 2 power if you can get Sam Wilson on the field. And again, Sam Wilson and Shield automatically going back and forth, they're going to boost themselves up. And of course, as you know, we're going to put the original Captain America combined with them to provide an organic power creep easily across the turns. You're bound to draw 2 of those 3 cards, either Goliath, Captain America, or Goliath and Sam Cap, or all 3. You know what I'm saying. Mr. Fantastic now is another card that I feel like is going to be more popular now. People forget that he got buffed a while back, so he provides 6 power to the adjacent sides if he played in the middle, compared to his original effect where he only granted 2 to each side. Combine him with Moonstone now and you get 12 power, pretty much split between the left and the right side if you play them both in the middle. Very powerful and sneaky combo right there if you can pull that off. Moonstone, I'd argue, is very powerful now as she combos with quite a few 1 and 3 cost cards, making her just as potent, if not more powerful than Mystique, depending on those cards specifically. Ant-Man, Speed, Captain America. If I'm being honest, Speed and Captain America could provide Moonstone some massive buffs. Moonstone and Captain America alone, if you pass the shield, Sam Wilson, Captain America's shield to Captain America, maybe once or twice, you can get Moonstone and Captain America to 20 power easily with just how powerful their combined effects together are. Mystique is another easy combo card. If I'm being honest, she's a staple for ongoing builds, as she's able to just copy an ongoing effect that you already have in play to use it in another lane or the same lane to double the effect. She has a lot of prime targets. It goes without saying. Moonstone, Klaw, Blue Marvel. She is the only reveal staple card that I argue belongs in ongoing base builds, aside from Iron Lad. She's just silky smooth for this type of build, straight up. What I'd like to talk about are the tech cards now, as is, dealing with a lot of ongoing builds, you want to just be aware of how to counter them. Obviously, Super Scroll as a whole murders ongoing base builds. You slap him turn 5, turn 6, and whatever lane he's in is getting a massive boost depending on the ongoing cards that's already in play. Again, the only drawback is if you're running on reveals, be wary of obviously a Cosmo being in play, as you don't want to copy that effect for your lane. So aside from that reveal effect kind of blockage, Super Scroll is just massive. He'll gain the boost from Blue Marvel, the adjacent lane boost from Klaw. There's just so much potential, and he gets it all on 1 card. That's what makes him just broken. He counters ongoing base builds completely, hands down. However, he does cost 4. And that's the only drawback, that you do have to kind of wait to play him. Obviously, that's not too big a drawback, because of how much massive power that you can get. I say that to say that I run Echo as a precaution now, because she is a lower cost card that I can kind of splash into a lane. She removes the ongoing effects my opponent plays, so not only can I catch an opponent, hopefully with regard to just removing, for example, Ravonna from play, so my opponent doesn't have the cost reduction. but it blocks that lane as well. If my opponent's playing an ongoing base build, he's not going to play any ongoing cards in the lane that echoes in, so it'll leave that lane free for me to maybe just put a couple of low cost creatures or something of that nature just to slowly build up power while I focus on another lane. Echo can serve as a very big distraction, especially now that ongoing being popular this week. I figured I'd just maybe talk about her just to make sure people are aware of her. She's very cool. Enchantress and Super Scroll are arguably better with the way they completely nullify the lane altogether, but Echo is a surprise card I definitely recommend people do not sleep on. One of the best parts about ongoing builds is that you have so much flexibility. On turn 5, you have the opportunity for some supreme power plays, Iron Man, Klaw, Blue Marvel, or combining Captain America, some nature, or armor in regard to placing them in certain lanes so you can protect your creatures or prevent your opponent from destroying cards for beneficial, effects and whatnot. Turn 6 is also a massive swing considering Spectrum being very popular now, as she can boost every ongoing by 2 and even Onslaught depending on the type of build you're running. For example, if you got Ant-Man, Captain America, and Moonstone and you're looking to really amplify the power, again, slapping Onslaught in that lane skyrockets the power significantly. Again, and this is not talking about Iron Man and of course the classic ongoing combo of Mr. Negative, Lady Thor, and then just summoning a whole bunch of really strong ups. Gore is actually pretty weak due to the fact that there's not a lot of on reveals in play, but considering Mr. Negative can make him 0 cost, he's still viable in that format regardless. Honestly, Goliath is a simple card straight up, but he, again, as I stated earlier, he is a great battery as he just makes ongoing base builds just smoother to run, more powerful now that you can have a small card build up power naturally through just turn by turn play. He can be splashed into Zoo and Thanos base builds as well, as these stones have a lot of ongoing based effects. However, again, just from what I stated earlier, Enchantress and Super Scroll are hard counters to this archetype, hands down. Maybe not Enchantress with regard to Thanos, but when you're talking about Goliath, he is very easy to shut down. Remember, when you shut down the other ongoing cards, his effect, for his power, I should say, goes down. So keep that in mind. You don't have to target him specifically. You can get rid of other ongoing cards and he'll take that hit as well. That does not take away from his flexibility, his consistency. He is 2 cost and you're able to play him anytime that you want. That is a lot of power considering the control of when you can play him. You can draw him on turn 6 and he is still viable depending on how your board is looking. So he is a very good card that I actually recommend people try to pick up. You can even run him with Lizard. Like, think about it. Lizard's effect, he goes minus when the lane is filled. But Goliath kind of makes up for that, but depending on the ongoing base structure that you have. If you're playing a whole bunch of ongoing cards, Lizard going minus doesn't bring that bad of a bell. I'm bringing up that combo because if your opponent enchantresses Goliath in the same lane as Lizard, you get the buff of Lizard at the end of the day. So it just gives your opponent a few things to think about if they really want to dedicate that type of power, and I'm sorry, not even the power, the cost for Enchantress to possibly remove Goliath, but at the risk of having a strong Lizard to contend with as well. So just a little something to think about. I think this card is an extremely solid card that would be a pretty, I don't want to say a staple because you can't put them in every deck, but ongoing base builds or builds that run maybe 3 to 5 minimum, easily can splash that in. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Cheers.